Shine2INSPIRE is a podcast aimed at listening and responding to the voices of our team and our community. Wellness, education, and entrepreneurship will be at the forefront. Whatever the topic, we hope to inspire because we are one team, one shine, and no voice will be left behind. Now let's get into the real and relevant. Dr. Dwight Owens is a specialist of the mind and a board-certified physician in psychiatry. Little Donald is a platinum-selling artist who made a song about suicide. And let's talk about the real and relevant. 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness. 1 in 6 adolescents aged 6 to 17 have a mental health disorder. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in people ages 10 to 34. We've all heard the saying, mind over matter. I say mental over everything. It's about time that mental health is taking center stage. Little Donald and Dr. Dwight Owens are joining us today to talk about mental health, specifically suicide. Both have had life-changing personal experiences. Now let's get into it.
How's it going today?
Blessed. I ain't never complaining, Doctor.
You know what, man, I was listening to that song, Suicidal, and it was very powerful. I was wondering if you could just maybe share a little bit with me about your experience, what actually happened with your nephew. Maybe it can help me out a little bit.
So you never really know the severity of something until you actually feel it. So like you hear about suicide, you hear it in other families, but when it hit my family, it was different for me. Like, cause my little nephew was like my son almost. Like I raised him, I taught him everything he know. So and he was a happy kid. Like he always happy, always smiling, always good, and nobody knew what he was going through internally. So when he texted everybody that he loved him, because what he did was he texted everybody and told them how he feel about them. And me particularly, he texted me you my number one, you everything, keep going, you gonna make it. He believed in me more than anybody. So when he took his life, for me, it was it put me on a different mission in life. It hurt me so bad because it's I felt like I could have did something, or why didn't I not know, or but it was I can't let nobody else get to this point. So
Were there any signs? I mean, did you see anything? Did he say anything? Did he isolate, or it was just all of a sudden?
It was a lot he was going through. And it's we see people go through things, and I was just born with this strength to when I go through things, I know how to just keep it moving and keep it pushing. And I found myself going into depression and anxiety and stress behind these things too. But when we see other people going through things, we just feel like everything gonna be okay. Because that's how we taught, to be tough, to get up, wipe yourself off and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. But we don't check on our people enough. And I just think he didn't receive enough love from the family as a whole to just be all the stuff, court stuff, his mom, my grandmother, the losses that we experience in our family, which all of these things lead to depression, losing loved ones and dealing with bills and life and seeing your family or your mother struggle. It's just a lot of stuff that probably pushed him into this point where he felt like he didn't want to be here no more. And it was just for me not to notice, or for him to feel like he felt, it was I can't let nobody else feel like this. So I gotta make a record. I gotta step outside of the street music and me being a street artist and actually stand up for something that makes a difference in the community. And Suicide was the song that I just felt besides Do Better, Suicide was I'm gonna make this record and I'm gonna be vulnerable and admit to my wrongdoing with my nephew. You get what I'm saying? Because that song was me admitting that I wasn't there for him. I tried to give him tough love because that's all I knew. So we can only do what we're taught. And I was taught tough love. If I went outside and hurt myself, I was taught to get up, go put a Band-Aid on it, and go back outside.
Now, have you forgiven yourself?
Yeah, I have. It took a while. But the amount of lives that I saved with my song "Suicidal" was like, nephew. Even though I didn't hear you, I heard a lot more people, and you helped me save a lot more lives. Like, because if it wasn't for him, the amount of lives that I saved would never be saved. So his purpose and his life still lives on to this day with that song, because it wouldn't be that song, it wouldn't be none of me. Like, I probably wouldn't even have the energy to keep going if it wasn't for him.
You said something a few minutes ago I wanted to kind of back up a little bit. You said my depression and my anxiety. How do you manage that? Platinum now, got a lot of things going on, all positive. But you said you took it personal. How do you manage that?
I just stay, like, music has always been a great therapy mechanism for me. Like, I can really literally go to the studio and just say whatever I feel. And on top of me being able to voice these emotions and give them to the world, like, I can say what I'm going through, I can give it to the world, and people can come in and say, I can relate to that. I feel you. I understand. And to not feel alone. So it's just like, when I make my music and I express these feelings about my problems with my family or this or that, and people say, oh, you're not alone, I'm going through that too. It's a therapy mechanism for me. Writing, I write a lot. Like, if I'm going through something, I jot it down. Like I said, oh, today, me and my kid's mom had an altercation, because to get it off your mind is one of the key things. Like, you have to relieve it. Right. We all go through things, but a lot of us just ignore them.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you say depression, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I isolated myself. I didn't want to be around people. I barely ate throughout the day. Like, I had moments where I felt like I was having a heart attack, or, like, I needed to call the 911 because my heart beating too fast. You get what I'm saying? Like, moments like that where you just lose yourself and like, oh, something wrong. You get what I'm saying? And it's really just because you're worried, or your mental is just like, I felt like I was going crazy. It was like, I ain't want to pick up the phone. I ain't want to talk to nobody. Like, and a lot of stuff that I was going through, I wasn't talking to nobody about.
And I really appreciate your transparency, because, just last week, one of your colleagues, his colleague, said that he was suicidal, and you were an Olympic star that mentioned some things, and we're seeing a lot more people, your colleagues, your friends, and the doctor that's most likely to complete suicide is a psychiatrist. So we're seeing this stuff that's creeping up, and I do hear your ministry and how you're trying to tap into a different place. So when you take your own experiences, the loss, and then it seems like you're now turning this into like a positive thing. So what would you say to maybe some of your colleagues that have not come forward? What would you say to them?
It's a testimony. Like, we all have one, and it's like, a lot of people don't come forward because of embarrassment or being told you're crazy or something's wrong with you, and I'm okay with it. You get what I'm saying? Right. It's about being okay with how everybody looks at you to get the proper help that you need.
Right.
And it's like, you have to have that confidence and build that confidence to just say, something's wrong with me. Right. You get what I'm saying? I know I'm not right. And I'm willing to say that. Like, oh, I have feelings. I have emotions. If a woman hurt me, I'm going to make a song. A woman hurts me. It's a lot of men get hurt by women. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's relatable. It's just like real. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't have no problem with sitting here talking to you and being vulnerable and people looking at, oh, he's soft. No, I'm honest. I'm honest, and it keeps me sane. It keeps me able to take care of my children and my family, because it bleeds into the family. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not at my best self mentally, my daughters feel it. My sons feel it. Like, when they want to come play and I'm like, I don't want to get up right now, you know, because I'm drained, because I'm holding everything in. And I think more people should not be selfish towards it's not just about you. It's because you start affecting everybody around you.
You know, I was looking at your page. You got a lot of followers, and I think in our community, the young black male, especially between like 15 to 25, the suicide rate is like astronomical, and the young females is getting up there as well. What would you say to, just say, one of your followers right now who may be looking at this podcast and maybe having some thoughts or some feelings? What would you say right now?
Talk to somebody. Like it's so important to have conversations. It don't have to be with a family member. It don't have to be with nobody that you grew up with. It don't have to be with nobody who you feel like you could trust or feel like wouldn't understand. It could be a complete stranger, a doctor. It could be somebody at work. It could be like, tell somebody how you feel, and you will be amazed how many people actually care. When I was going through it, me particularly, I felt like nobody wouldn't care. But how could I feel like nobody cares when I'm not even talking to nobody? So it's like, if you're not going to have that conversation with somebody to say, I'm going through this, I feel like this is where my mental is, how can somebody help you? How can somebody be there for you? So it's just about being open, opening up, tell somebody.
Right.
Get it out.
Right.
Holding it in, you're going to burst.
Right. So I do think it is important that we let people know that we do have resources. 988 is one of them, and like you said, reach out to a family member. But I think it is important that you mentioned that we do need to open up and we do need to share, especially when you get to the point of despair and you feel like there's no way out. Depression can sit for a little while idle. But when depression couples with despair, that's when we start teetering over into suicide. You mentioned something about chest pain and feeling like these tell me about that.
What I later realized, it was like panic attacks. I really thought like it was like I felt like I couldn't breathe. Right. I felt like aches in my chest. I felt like, you know, like my heart sped up. I'm like Fred Sanford. I'm like, this the big one. I'm literally losing my mind, like sitting here and I'm panicking. I'm like, should I call the ambulance? What should I do? So like a few times I called the ambulance and they come. They do the whole little, you know, they put the little patches on my chest, make sure my heart good. They're like, nah, you good. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm really literally lost. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm having it, like, and it's happening like twice every other day. You get what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, all right, something is wrong with me. It's not a health, like, because I go get a CAT scan, I go do the whole, like, maybe it's my liver. Maybe, like, I'm thinking I'm dying on the other side. But I realized that it was a mental thing. It was that my mind wasn't right. I was worried. I was stressing about things that I didn't even know I was stressing about because I wasn't in the studio. I wasn't recording. I was staying away from everybody. Because I lost my nephew. I lost my mom. I lost my grandmother. So it was a lot of death in my family. Then I turned around and lost my uncle who, had just got a new kidney. I lost him to COVID. So it was just like all that death and, me taking care of everybody. You get what I'm, when you have the weight of the world on you, when you like I'm responsible for my kids, I'm responsible for my family, so many responsibilities. And that's what a lot of artists and people who have money and power or whatever, that's what they deal with.
Right.
It's like you have everything going on, but those chest pains and all of that, it sounds like you be wondering, you thinking like my health is bad. But nah, your mind is bad because you're not getting the proper help.
Right. I was just thinking out loud, why do you think in our culture, black people, we don't go see psychiatrists?
In our community, I feel like we make a lot of stuff weird or lame that really we should do. Like, me making do better about loving women, and I got tore down by my community. You get what I'm saying? Like, why are you making this type of music? You a self. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's always that what we're supposed to be doing is made to look wrong. Oh, going to see a psychiatrist, you crazy. Oh, he's slow. he ain't right, bro. He retarded. Like you're made to feel like going to do that is wrong. So that's why me sitting in the seat that I sit in with the amount of followers and the platinum records and being a rapper, I do the total opposite. I highlight the things that we should really be doing. We should be treating women right. We should be going to see Dr. O to get the mental help that we need. We should take a break from social media. We should, you get what I'm saying? We should eat healthy. We should, we should help the younger dudes in the community to not be stealing cars or breaking windows. Like, it's a lot that we should be doing as a community that is made to seem lame or weird.
Right. Because I think that in our community, there's a lot of trauma. Would you agree?
For sure.
Yeah. Because, and I think that because we don't deal with that trauma, we get a lot of these unresolved conflicts.
Yeah.
And it's just, you get stuck until you correct some of this stuff. And like you said, I mean, just a lot of people, a psychiatrist is a doctor. Like you said, talk about it. So you're right. So we do have to start having that next conversation. And I think you tapped into something by telling your followers, because you got a large following. So you may have to get you a little clinic going there,
Yeah.
Because it is, and I tell you, you have a greater impact because you can do that ministry of healing out there. I tell you, I've been practicing now almost 30 years, and I've never seen as much actual attempts. I mean, just people that really want to kill themselves, and it's just different.
If you look at social media came into play and made a big difference in the community, because it's a lot of people that look at their life and they look at other people's life. Correct. And they feel like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm failing in life. You get what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's social media ruined so much because we all look at everybody else's life and judge our own.
Right.
So
back in the day, we called that peer pressure.
Yeah.
I guess peer pressure is now called social media.
Yeah.
But it's one and the same.
No, serious. Social media is big, and these kids get to see everything, learn everything. It's sick people who go on the internet and put suicidal stuff up to promote this to kids. Like, YouTube and the World Wide Web is so much access to anything. Like, far as my kids, you can't even get on TikTok. You can't even be on Instagram. You don't even know. You don't even got no page. You know what it is, but you not on there. Like, you can't. Like, I'm like a lieutenant around the crib. But let me see your tablet. Search. You have to protect your children. And like, we used to be outside. We used to play in the yard. We used to ride our bike. We used to go throw the football. These kids now is like, I'm on my tablet. You get what I'm saying? I'm on my tablet. I'm on the internet. I'm searching. So you learn everything from the internet. Right. The internet is teaching these kids more than their parents.
Right. I was thinking about your song, Suicidal. You used the word love a lot. Where does love come into play as it relates to healing in your music?
Words don't really matter. I could say, Dr. O, I love you, bro. Mm-hmm. You my man. Mm-hmm. But I can see you going through something and not be there for you. So how do I love you? And when people come around me and I tell them I love them, it's different for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm actually going to move like I love you. If you're hurt, I'm there. If you need me, I call off work to be there for you. Like, because it was like a situation where I had a trauma in my life, and the person who said they loved me, I called them and I told them. And they said, well, I'm busy. You get what I'm saying? The amount of hurt that you inflict on somebody when they need you and you're unavailable. Because that's what I think my nephew felt at his suicidal moment. He reached out to everybody. He reached out to me too. I failed him too. You get what I'm saying?
How do you know he reached out to you?
Because he texted me. I love you. He sent his final text message or whatever, and everybody was calling me like, hey, he's saying he's going to kill himself. Now, he had said it before and never did anything. So it's like, nah, he ain't going to do that. You get what I'm saying? But you can never not take it serious.
Did he ever get any help or see somebody or therapist?
Nah, he never seen nobody. And because again, it wasn't taken serious. And I think if somebody makes that accusation, it's automatically serious.
So now
That's serious.
That's a lesson learned.
Yes, for sure.
Oh yeah.
If you love somebody, love them all the way. Don't part-time love them. You got to push the issue.
Right.
If you feel like they need help, you got to give them that help.
So our take-home point is, if anybody, whether you believe them or not, if they make that statement, if they say it, you got to take action. You got to call someone, keep them on the phone, dial 911. You got to take action, because we do know that it could be the last time. Suicide in the Black community. So your song, man, it's powerful, because now in the Black community, we have this. You know, we just didn't do it, but you just didn't hear of people of color completing suicide. But now, I'm telling you, it's getting serious.
It's environmental too.
What do you mean?
Like if you go outside and it's police outside every day, it's drama, it's negativity, where's your happiness?
So I think that, I really want to tell you, this has been amazing. What is depression? Depression, like sleep. You don't want to do anything. Little Donna mentioned isolating, lack of energy. You can't get yourself together. Concentration's all off. You're burning stuff on the stove. You're running red lights. You don't want to eat. He mentioned he wasn't eating. Or eating too much. And then the one that we're most concerned with today is when you feel like there's no other reason to live. When you get to that point, what we need you to do is sound the alarm. Once again, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Lil Donald, and thank you, Dr. O. You know, one of the reasons we started this podcast was in our organization, we have over 500 team members. And there was no way that on a day-to-day basis, I could be with all 500. And one of the common things I hear when it comes to mental health, specifically suicide, is there's three things actually. One, I just didn't know. Two is, I don't have the money to get help. And the third is, where do I go? There's the Employee Assistance Program. Many organizations have them. Our organization does. The first 3 sessions when it comes to talking to a counselor and dealing with mental health are free. Reach out, look, and it's anonymous. People don't even have to know. And the third is, well, where do I go? Whether I have the money or not, where do I go? There's the Suicide and Crisis line. You can text or call 988, and it does work. I wanted to make sure for myself that this was actually something real, and it is real. It does work. You will be and can be connected to a counselor. The second is the American Psychiatric Association, and the National Alliance on Mental Health is also. All 3 are resources. You can also email talk@wowmcd, where we will work to point you in the right direction. You heard Lil Donald and you heard Dr. O talk about their personal experiences. Just remember, you are not alone. You don't have to walk it alone. There should be no voice left behind. Thank you for tuning in.
Before you take all those pills and take your life, before you hang yourself and put that gun in your head, understand what you leave behind. I know you've been feeling suicidal.
I know. Yeah.
I know you've been feeling suicidal.
I know.
Nobody told you I love you, I love you, I promise I mean.
I love you.
I know all them problems you facing be hurting, you know it ain't easy.
I know it ain't.
They think that you're strong, you hiding them problems so they don't believe.
Oh, they don't believe you.
Where all the love when you need it. I know it feel like ain't nobody got your back.
I know.
Don't you do your family like
Don't do
that. Once you do it, no, it ain't no coming back.
It ain't ain't no coming
Go
back.
get some help and try to get yourself on track. Before you take all them pills, scratch about all them bills.
Yeah,
They don't see all your struggle.
they don't,
They ain't see you climb them hills.
they didn't.
No, you ain't got nobody.
I know it.
Every time shit get real,
Every time.
I know you don't think that God got
I
you,
know
but I
you
know
don't.
He will.
He will.
I know them nights you were crying enough. All of them problems kept adding up. All of that money wasn't good enough. It be a blessing right after it's tough. You gotta hold on. You gotta stay strong. You loved them and they broke your heart, but you gotta move on. Look in the mirror, you're beautiful. I know you get tired of them using you. I'm trying my best to get through to you, cause I know what the devil trying to do to
I
you.
know.
Here go my hand, hold it.
Hold it.
Here go my ears, talk to me.
Talk to me.
I got your back,
I got you.
cause I know you weak.
I know it.
Nobody told you I love you, I love you, I promise I mean
I
it.
love you.
I know all them problems you facing be hurting, you know it ain't easy.
I know it ain't easy.
They think that you're strong, you hiding them problems so they don't believe.
Oh, they don't believe.
Where all the love when you need it. I know it feel like ain't nobody got your back.
I know.
Don't you do your family like that.
Don't do that.
Once you do it, no, it ain't no coming back.
It ain't no coming
Go
back.
get some help and try to get yourself on track. Rest peace, Quentin Jackson.
Rest in peace.
Still don't know what happened.
I don't.
Should've picked up the phone to talk to you. That shit hurt me bad.
It hurt me.
We be trying to give folks tough love when we don't give them enough love. I know your problem been unfolded. Put that gun down and unload it. Just stop one day and tell them you love them. You don't know how much that mean. Know they always got a smile on their face, but things ain't good as they seem. Just hug 'em right now and tell them you got them. You don't know how much they help. You don't know everybody out here facing problems, but it's hard to face your problems yourself. I know you fed up. Just hold your head up. The devil gon' let up. 'Cause God got you.
God got you.
Ain't nobody else won't be there for you than I got
I
you.
got you.
I got you.
I promise.
Yeah. I know you been feeling suicidal.
I know.
Uh,
I'm here.
I know you been feeling suicidal.
I know.
Nobody told you I love you, I love you, I promise I mean
I
it.
love you.
I know all them problems you facing be hurting, you know it ain't easy.
I know it ain't.
They think that you're strong, you hiding them problems so they don't believe.
Oh, they don't believe.
Where all the love when you need it.
Well, all the love.
I know it feel like ain't nobody got your back.
I know the feeling.
Don't you do your family like that.
Don't leave your family.
Once you do it, no, it ain't no coming back.
It ain't no coming
Go
back.
get some help and try to get yourself on track.
I got you.
I know you been feeling suicidal.